Okay, so moving on to my third session of the week. This is going to be circuit training at the gym. Um, okay, so this is obviously going to target a different portion of muscles than the session in the gym on Monday. So starting with a warm up, it's going to be high knees, bum kicks, lunge with a twist, marches, sweeps, and karaoke. These are all dynamic stretches. He's going to be doing these on the spot. And the pulse raising and it prepares muscles, makes them more pliable for the exercise ahead. They're not going to rip or tear, and it's going to reduce the risk of injury. All of these should be done for about 30 seconds each. The warm up itself should only last about 4 minutes. So moving into the main content, the gym circuit. My client wants to improve his power and athleticism, and this will focus on that as well as along with strength. So the exercise that he's going to be doing at the gym, I want him to do 10 reps for 3 sets. So leg press, squats, deadlift, front squat, Bulgarian split squat, dumbbell lunge, and machine squat. So as I said, 3 sets of 10 reps at 75% of their 75% of their 1 rep max. This is going to improve their strength, their explosive power, athleticism, all of his goals that he wanted to do. This is going to help his basketball, help different aspects of his basketball, as I mentioned before. There are some aspects of basketball that you need to be athletic to be good at. So now moving on to the cool down. Using a foam roller, I want him to massage his legs after this so that he can reduce tension in his muscles that's been building during the session. And then after using the foam roller, stretching using the Bosu ball. This is good variation. I'm showing him different stuff, different techniques. So these are the stretches for the Bosu ball after using the foam roller. Kneeling hip flexor, pyramid pose, garland pose, downward facing dog, and upward facing dog. And then obviously after those stretches are going to reduce DOMs, going to reduce the waste products left in the muscles after the exercise. So moving on to week 4. So week 4, session 1. In this session, the main activity will be a 10-kilometer run. I've chosen this exercise for my client because one of their goals was to improve their fitness. In the previous weeks of exercise, I have implemented many cardio-related sessions into his schedule. For example, in week 1, he had a 5-kilometer run in his schedule. As we can see, he has used progressive exercises. Now in week 4, he's doing a 10-kilometer run. This is because the body the body has become accustomed to a 5-kilometer run and therefore does not challenge the client anymore. By doing a 10-kilometer run, he's progressing and also overloading his body so that he can improve his cardiovascular endurance. His body's going to be adapting more after doing a 10-kilometer run. To start overloading his body so that he can improve his... To start the session off, the client needs to warm up appropriately. To start the warm up off, the client needs to perform some static stretches before moving on to the run. This is because the muscles in their body need to be warmed up and pliable so they do not rip or tear during the exercise. And also, warming up beforehand means that the energy systems in the body have time to work, so when going into the exercise, the aerobic respiration system is being used straight away instead of anything else like the ATP PC system being used. This is important because the aerobic system is the required system for this type of exercise. The stretches the clients needs to carry out include quadricep stretch, lunges, knee pull, marches, toe touches. That's a sitting down stretch. Calf and hamstring stretch. These should all be held for 30 seconds and target their leg muscle groups. It is important that these muscles are ready for the exercise because they will be used the most during this session. The next stretches the client need to carry out are the tricep stretches, shoulder rotations, and touching both hands behind your back. These all target muscles in the arms so they are loose and ready for exercise. These stretches should also be held for 30 seconds and done on each side or the opposite limb of the body. Once these stretches are complete, the client is ready to begin the main part of the session, which is the 10-kilometer run. The client should be aiming to reach 60 to 70% of their maximum heart rate. This is shown with some treadmills as they have heart rate monitors, but as an alternative, the client does not have access to a treadmill or a heart monitor. The client should gauge their exertion level and should be working at a moderate level. This is important because if the exercise is too easy, no adaptations will take place in the body and therefore the client won't improve. Once completed, the client needs to complete a cool down before finishing the session. This cool down will include static stretches to complete the removal of waste product from the body and reduce DOMS. After the session is finished, all stretches should be held for 30 seconds and done for the opposite side. The stretches are toe touches, bringing both feet facing each other, so it's kind of like a praying position, cat and dog, and then the leg over the other stretch. So that's working the lower back and the upper legs, so the glutes. And that's it for that session. So week 4 session. Oh, sorry. I did say. Yeah, those should be held for 30 seconds. So week 4 session 2. The next session the client will carry out will be a circuit training session at the gym. This is a good session for the client as they want to improve their strength and athleticism. During this gym session, we will focus on one of the group of muscles in the client's body per day. For example, arms and chest one day and legs another day. This session will include a warm-up and a cool-down as well to make sure there is a reduced chance of injury to the client. The session will be carried out with moderate exertion level and will be a 25 to 30 minute session. On each exercise, the client will take breaks in between to make sure that the client is working efficiently and gaining progress rather than excessively overloading the client and causing them damage. For this session, the client will warm up by using the rowing machine. The client should be working at roughly 50% of their maximum heart rate to warm up the muscles in the body and the muscle groups that will be used during the main activity in the gym. The warm-up should be done within 10 minutes of work on the rowing machine. The main portion of the session will be focusing on the arms and chest of the client. Although not linking directly to the client's goals, increasing the strength and physical presence can help with their sport hugely and can allow them to compete against higher level competition. The exercises are as follows: so chest press, bicep curl, triceps extension, overhead extension, hammer curl, press-ups and pull-ups. All exercises should be carried out with 75% of the client's 1 rep max for that exercise, 3 sets of 10 reps with breaks in between each set. If the push-ups become too easy for the client, then an alternative is to balance a weight on their back to increase resistance while carrying out the exercise. The cool-down is important after the session as the client needs to reduce muscle soreness as much as possible. Each stretch needs to be held for 30 seconds and done on each side of the body. The stretches are as follows and are against the wall. Front leg bent, back leg straight, straight, front leg bent. Swing the leg from side to side, and that's going to be on both sides. So facing the wall, you're just going to let your leg dangle in front of you and swing it from side to side of your body. And then you're going to turn your body so that you're facing side on to the wall and swing your leg backwards and front, back and front. And then you're going to obviously switch round so you're doing it on both sides. And I'm just going to go into explaining rest days. So I've allocated rest days on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays for most of the weeks. These days are directly between days where the client has exercise sessions. This gives them time to recover, and it is also important to rest the body as adaptations will start to happen in these rest periods where the body is not being subjected to physical exercise. The client needs to carry out static stretches at home in the morning and in the evening. These stretches need to be held for 30 seconds. If the stretch involves a limb or one side of the body, the stretch needs to be repeated, but for the other side. These stretches the client will perform will aim to cover all of the muscle groups around the body and therefore be an effective stretch. Lunges, squats, quad pulls, toe touches, calf stretch, tricep stretch. These are like examples of what you should do every day in the morning and in the night when there's no sessions, there's no one advising them. In addition to the exercise, the client should also use a foam roller to massage their muscles. The foam roller essentially gives the client a deep tissue massage and removes adhesions and scar tissue and in turn speeds up recovery. The client needs to use the foam roller correctly for it to be efficient. By laying on the floor and placing it under the desired part of the body, the client can roll himself along the roller, and with the weight of their body acting against the roller, it will massage their body part. It'll put pressure on their body. The client needs to roll the body part over the roller slowly and repeat the action many times. This may be painful for the client when they first start using it, as their muscles are most likely tight after the previous exercise. The purpose of stretching during rest days is to reduce DOMS in the body. DOMS is a delayed onset of muscle soreness, and by stretching, it decreases the chance of muscles being sore the next day for the exercise planned, meaning reduced pain or discomfort. So that's it for week 4. Week 5. So week 5, session 1. So the warm up for this is going to be using resistance bands. So taking the resistance band and putting it on either one of your legs, so that when you move your legs apart, it's obviously stretching the band. So the first things I wanted him to do with the resistance bands are side steps, and I want him to take 20 steps on each leg. So you're stepping from side to side with your lead leg. That's the one that's going to be getting stretched, because obviously it's got a stretch against the resistance band. So with your lead leg on each side, you want to do 20 steps. Squats, 20 squats with the resistance band. Lunges, 20 on each leading leg. And then jumping jacks, and 20 jumping jacks. That'll be 5-minute warm up. Use resistance bands because it's good variation, and it's engaging the client. It's not letting them get bored. So moving on to the main content. This is fartlek training. So he's going to be running instead of the previous fartlek training, which was on the bicycle, I believe. So the fartlek training is relevant to my client because it's increasing his endurance and his strength, and also fartlek training is a change of pace and a change of intensity, and that's links directly to basketball. But as you're going up and down the court, anything can happen. You might have to run really high intensity. You might have to slow down and do something like run a play with the team. So I think this is directly relevant to what my client wants to improve. So he's going to run for 5 minutes at 70% of his maximum heart rate, either on the treadmill, which is preferred because you can see where your heart rate's at, or out somewhere, and you should be working at 14 on the Borg scale, or perceived rate of exertion scale. So after 5 minutes, do 10 seconds, 90% maximum heart rate. That's going to be high intensity. After that 10 seconds, it'll be go down to 5 minutes, 70%, and after that, it's 15 seconds at 80%. So after that being complete, the client will move on to his cool down. And the cool down will just consist of static stretches to remove the lactic acid and reduce muscle soreness. So here's a list that I want him to do: hamstring stretch, glute stretch, quadricep stretch, groin stretch, lower back stretch, abdominal stretch, and arm and shoulder stretch. Because obviously all of those things were used in the exercise, and each of these I want him to hold for 30 seconds on both sides of the body. And this is obviously going to, as I said before, it's going to be helping the body return to its pre-exercise state. So week 5, session 2, warm up, 5-minute run on the treadmill at 50% of their maximum heart rate. This is obviously just to increase the pulse, increase the heart rate, get the muscles ready to be worked. Make sure you're reducing the chance of muscle injury and tear as much as possible, and also preparing the aerobic energy system. Not the aerobic energy system. You're just preparing the muscles, getting the body warm, so it's not a shock when you go into the gym circuit and you don't tear anything when lifting a heavy weight.